little bit sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I am Heather Terry.
And as most of you know, this is our power hour of true crime with fucked up people doing fucked up shit for fucked up reasons. And this story today is going to fuck all y'all up.
Oh, man. All y'all.
All y'all. This is going to be one
y'all.
where it's like, just, I don't even know what to say. It just fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
Oh, no.
So on average, our episodes, like from our research, for all the people who can't see us, which is everybody, we do about like anywhere from like 9 to 12 pages. Like this is 24. So, and I know we have other things to talk about before I dive in, but just for everyone to know that this is probably going to be a twofer.
The twofer.
And
it sounds like it needs to be.
I have no idea when we're going to stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
My nips are hard for the experience because I literally don't know. And we're just going to go until we hit a time frame that we're like, we should get off this soapbox of horror.
That, your notes be looking thick.
They are just as thick as my thighs. Juicy.
I have to tell you the story.
I would like to hear it.
Can I tell you this? Okay.
Yeah, and then if you guys hear me moving a lot, it's because I'm wearing really slippery leggings on this chair, and I'm like trying to find a way to keep my ass in the chair and not slide off it.
You always move, always.
I do. I can't. And I'm not even like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're like, in case you can hear me, like on the last 104 episodes, I'm going to be continuing to do what I've done for the last 104 episodes.
it's called consistency, Heather.
Oh, yeah.
Look it up.
Look it up. It's called science. Okay, so I had lunch with a couple friends today, and one of the girls,
I'm sorry?
a couple of friends.
You had lunch
Friends.
with a couple of friends today?
Yes.
I-
You were out of town. You were unavailable.
I don't understand. That is bullshit.
Yes.
Well, whatever, I'll let it be.
Yeah, so we went, and one of the girls was saying that with her job, her vacation her is different from in-town her, and she just says whatever. So she had a couple drinks, and they went on a cruise. And it was her and her husband and another couple. Well, they were on the elevator, and she always just says, like, she made a joke to the TSA person because she had 2 double Bloody Marys before getting on the plane.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's fun. And she said that she walked up to the TSA agent, she told the girl, she goes, hey, my friend's coming, and she's like a nervous flyer. Can you please just tell her you have to search her vagina? And she said the girl was like, what? I can't say that. And then she died laughing and like caused a big ruckus. But anyway, so when they get there, they've been drinking and they're on the elevator going down, and there was some guy and he was like nervous, and the girl, she goes, why are you so nervous? And he's like, oh, I just proposed. And she's like, oh, we could get you married on the boat. And her friend, the guy's husband, was saying there, she goes, he's the best minister. He's the best minister for sure. But she goes, yeah, as soon as he got herpes, he turned straight to Christ.
Oh.
And the guy was like, she goes, yep, herpes sent him to Christ. And he kept a straight face, and the guy was like, we're not going to get married today, but thanks, and got off on the next floor. Herpes turned him to Christ.
I am loving the energy that Heather has on this story.
Because that's so bizarre.
It
if
is
a stranger
very
told you
bizarre.
that with a dead ass straight face on an elevator.
Okay, I just followed someone on the Instas where it was a woman basically like, she goes, whenever you find out you tested positive for herpes, and she's like, you think your life's over, you think all this stuff, but really you're just fine. And I'm like, you put that out on the Instagrammies.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, the herpes is ratcheting around, and like just
well, maybe she became a pastor too.
Who knows? I'm sure she was.
She said
very
that guy
focused on Christ.
That guy could not get out of the elevator fast enough, and then that.
Why? I would have been like, dude, I get it. I feel you. If some rando said that to me, I'd be like,
he wants to marry you because after his herpes flare up, he decided he needed Jesus. Like, herpes sent him to Jesus. I can't.
That should be a shirt.
But yeah, I'm sure it's a bumper sticker somewhere.
It should be.
I'm sure it is.
I do too.
But anyway,
I love it when people make strangers uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It brings me joy.
I know.
But I know that Heather wanted me to laugh harder. But I'm also like unbelievably tired. And I've been reading so much about my story that I think I'm a little dead inside. I'm like, I don't know.
You're like, herpes sucks. I was like, yeah, but think about the stranger. Like, you're missing the point.
I'm like, no, I just think it's I mean, I do think it's hilarious. But it's the same thing whenever
it shows. You're like, that is so funny. You're one of those memes where the reels.
The worst on that.
Yes.
I swear I think it's funny. I just not enough to like laugh hard.
It is so funny. And I'm like, and you're like, what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's my favorite story.
So
I'm going to take a nap while you talk. Go ahead.
Do it. Do it.
It sounds like I need to.
You'll wish you had.
It sounds like I don't want to.
I don't know what I did. Hold on. Mama Bear just fucked some shit up on the mic, man.
Yeah.
I went to move a keyboard, made the whole screen look like crazy. That literally just made my butthole pucker.
I know. Now you were moving it again, and I was like, okay.
I still want it out of the fucking way.
I love how we made a joke about you moving so much at the beginning, and then you did.
Just leave me alone. I think I just almost got splinters from the fucking table whenever I shit myself. Golly.
Man.
Hey,
What
we're
a journey.
professionals.
What a journey.
I'm super short. This table's super high. I have low back pain, and it's hard for me to sit in these environments.
Man, we'll start a GoFundMe. This has got to sound like
Horrible. So this one, Wikipedia, Apple TV has a documentary on it. Do I remember and did I write it down and did I take the time to then re-Google it to tell you? No. And then also biography.
your sources.
Yes. Yes.
She's like,
Wikipedia, Apple TV.
I know you just started saying
Sponsors.
I was like, oh yeah, right. It's like, are you just saying stuff? I could say stuff. Tubi, like what? Netflix. I don't know. I win.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that was the thing.
Yeah.
So I was reminded of this story when we were talking to the fabulous Sam, and it's Alyssa. Elisa.
Yeah.
From the podcast Watch for Deer.
Hey, girl. Yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to them, it's probably time. You should.
Tis time.
So shout out to our girls, and thanks for the story, my bitches.
Oh, yay.
I kind of wish I wouldn't have listened to them. I wish they wouldn't have said it because the story sucks, and it really bums me out. It's so terrible. So this is a warning that this is going to be terrible, and I'm going to say terrible things.
So like trigger for everything, like we usually say, trigger warning for everything.
Yeah. So when I started walking through the documentary, I really just immersive, you know. When I did that, I was with Travie Pads, my hubby bear, because he's my hubby bear.
Hubby.
And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, I'm not doing this. And he walked away and he left for the rest of the night. And he didn't even come back. I was like, I text him. I go, Travis, can you please come downstairs? I'll turn off the documentary. And he came downstairs and he's like, dude, there's some shit I'll listen to, but that's not one of them. It was that bad.
I don't remember the story.
It's horrific. Yeah. So let's go.
Okay.
Let's make it happen.
All right.
I do want to mention that both Fred and Rose were tragically abused as children in unbelievable ways. And we'll unpack it as we go through the story. It's almost one where you can really get torn on. You really can't, because what they did was so terrible, but it's really hard to be a normal human being in society when this was what you were taught.
So it's like it's kind of the ones where you're like, well, they went that way. It's not an excuse.
There wasn't a choice. Yeah. If you ask me, there was not a choice.
Okay.
They were groomed into hell. And so what they truly believed was relatively normal behavior is stuff that we would know. What's going on with your lip, bro?
What? My lips are chapped and there's
You're being like, I'm real weird with them. It's making me second guess if I have something in between my teeth or something.
No, I just would have told you.
I know, but I wish you were on camera and I could show everyone how cute that was. Okay. Frederick I didn't even, I saved this one as the Wild Wild West. We're going to talk about the West family.
Wiki wild.
Mm-hmm. Frederick Walter Stephen West, fucking long name. This shitbag was born PM is what I wrote. 9/29/1941 in England. His parents should have been shot in the backyard. Just so you know.
Whoa.
That's how I feel. And you'll understand more.
Okay.
Walter and Daisy, which are probably the cutest, sweetest little fucking baby names ever, are the Satanistic parents of Fred. They live in a smaller village called Herefordshire, as I mentioned, in England. Everyone's going to go all over the place. And I got really tired of trying to act like we were fucking Zillow or I was like a realtor. I was like, ain't nobody care. So at some point, you're going to watch us just fall off the fucking map and I don't fucking care. He is one of 6 children, and they end up they ended up relocating to a farm. The kids had to work, which kind of seems very circa 1940 to 1960.
When was this year again?
Well, they were born in 41, so around that time frame.
Okay, cool.
Fred was reportedly his mother's favorite child. And all the reports and all the recaps of his life, apparently his mother took him to bed at about the age of 12.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Do you mean what I think you mean?
His mother had sex with him when he was 12.
Oh, God.
And his father was into bestiality.
No.
And I heard that in that show, that his dad would legit fuck pigs in their living room.
I need you to stop talking.
Dude, it's 8 minutes in.
Well,
10 minutes
this is
in,
the
so
shortest episode. I'm so uncomfortable.
And that is why Travis walked away.
I'm sweating. Well, I can't walk away.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. I'll keep going. How's that? How about I just tell you more?
Okay.
And that was literally like, so when he grew up, he truly believed that people had sex with animals.
Well, because he lived in the most fucked up situation.
I know. So just understanding that part. His father also had sex with his daughters.
No.
And his mother was super supportive of him, too, having sex with his sisters. So we're jumping into this with the most depravedness sexual situations at the youngest of ages. This is all you knew, like this is the normal behavior and this is what everyone's, I don't know. Now, one of his brothers says that this was all fantasy. And I'm like, it's not. You know that you do not want to admit that was the environment you grew up on. Like,
no. Who? No.
Everything recounts that that's what happened. But one brother was like, no. I'm like, I'd lie to.
I think I would
fucking lie to.
I think I would also
100%.
Yes.
He didn't do well in school and eventually dropped out to become a farm laborer. When he was 17, a motorcycle accident left him in a coma for a week with serious head injuries. A metal plate was placed in his head, and here we are. We are now likely highlighting the start of a serial killer.
Yeah.
They believe that accident also damaged his ability to have any impulse control. So
he was already fucked up, and then he got hurt. He got hurt, like a brain injury, because that's pretty typical.
Well, then he also had another head injury whenever he, that they believe could have been more permanent brain damage. He fell off a fire escape at like a youth club and hit his head really hard. Ugh. So his nog's fucked up. He's been banging his mom since he was 12. And
oh my God.
Cows are cool,
That's so uncomfortable.
Homeboy is known for petty theft. That is literally going to be his vibe. He is going to Winona Ryder all over this story.
Petty's just like little shit, not like cars.
Right.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know what it would be in that time for, but like a felony's over 500. So.
Oh.
He was also known for pestering women. Someone said that his sex was shitty because he was just trying to get off. Research is funny. I wrote that. I go, man, research is funny. Because I literally found one that said that he was bad at pleasuring women because he only knew to get himself off.
A selfish lover.
Yeah. Then in 1961, he was arrested for none other than impregnating his 13-year-old sister, Kitty.
No.
When he was arrested, he openly talked about molesting young women, and he said, doesn't everybody do it?
Stop it.
He was tried on November 9th with his mother there ready to testify in his defense. Sadly, Kitty changed her mind and refused to testify, so the case essentially just fell apart. His mom banished him from the house, and he went to live with his Aunt Violet at this other house elsewhere.
Can we pause? Because I'm loving these names. I'm hating the storyline, but the names are pretty awesome.
They're pretty good. Yeah. He became involved with Rena Costello, which is a Scottish girl who had a police record for burglary and prostitution. At the time, she was pregnant with another man's child. She and Wes were married in November 1962, and the child was born in March of 63, whom they called Charmaine. Now, Charmaine was mixed race. It took me forever to find out what that mixed race was, and she was a little bit Asian.
Okay.
And that was an issue back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot the time frame.
Because people were like, no.
I bet that baby was cute, though.
I bet so, too. So because of that, they said that she miscarried her original pregnancy and that this was a new child that that they had adopted. Oh. So, sure. That's whatever. Yeah. Lies are lies.
Yeah.
To make matters worse, he became a fucking ice cream van driver.
Stop. No.
We will not get very far if you told me to stop. every 3 minutes. So I'm going to have to push through or we will be here for 6 years. Because if you think this is bad, this ain't shit. In July of 1964, oh, and by the way, I'd mentioned he was an ice cream van driver, and yes, he did molest young teenagers.
Ew.
In July of 1964, Rena and Fred had a daughter, Anna Marie. Not Anne Marie. Anna Marie. The child was born at the couple's Savoy Street home. People say that Rena was a kind mother and did struggle raising 2 children. Fred was a cunt. And he would keep the girls in the bottom of a bunk bed with bars fitted to the space between the bunks, basically caging them in. And they were only allowed to come out whenever he wanted them to work.
What? I'm mad. I'm already mad.
So then there's this McNeil person, and I don't know where the fuck they came in. And they literally, I just hear the word McNeil. Like, that this is a person. And I don't know how I don't know who this McNeil person is. And we're just going to carry on with it.
Okay.
At some point, I think because the story is really long, I think I unpack the suitcase, or I just let you guys ponder for the whole fucking length of your entire life.
All right.
But because of the McNeil, the West become acquainted with her friend, which is a 16-year-old Anne McFall. Okay. Anne McFall, she's super devastated because her boyfriend died in a workplace accident out of nowhere. And so she just kind of spent a lot of time at Fred and Rena's house. So Fred later admitted to having engaged in numerous affairs in the early years of his marriage and fathered one illegitimate child with a woman somewhere. It's from the Gorbals, whatever. When Rena discovered her husband's infidelity, she did what most women do. And so she decided to have an affair too.
Yep.
I'm
Wow.
kidding. But the guy's name's John McLaughlin. On one occasion, Fred discovered the pair in an embrace. He punched Rena.
He punched her?
He punched her. And then in response, John punched Fred, who drew a knife and grazed John's abdomen. When punched the second time, John hit Fred again.
Okay.
Fred stopped defending himself. And later on, John ends up saying, like, he couldn't tackle a man, but he wasn't so slow to attack a woman.
Wow.
So John ends up kind of like being in a portion of this where he's just pretty much fighting this dude all the time. So they know this is stupid. A lot of stupid happens for a long period of time.
Yeah. So they're just openly cheating and they just keep fighting about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. 100%.
Got it.
He and Rena continued their affair, and John became increasingly basically like freaked out because Rena's always coming back with bruises and black eyes. On each occasion, it became apparent that Fred was obviously beating his wife, and John would then extensively beat Fred. In another instance, John witnessed Charmaine, which is a little older than a toddler at that time, ask Fred for an ice cream from his van, and in response, he struck her across the head.
What?
Yeah.
Just
A
she's
little
like,
toddler
hey,
asked for ice cream, and
like,
he has an ice
hey,
cream truck.
Freddie, can I get that dilly bar though?
He's like, Dad, can I have an ice cream? Slap her in the head.
What a fucking dillweed.
And then so once again, John beat his ass. On November 4th, 1965, Fred accidentally runs over and kills a little boy in Glasgow with his ice cream truck. He was cleared of any wrongdoing by police, but I don't know who's trying to buy some ice cream from an ice cream driver that ran over kids. So in December, he returns to Gloucester with Charmaine and Anna Marie, renting a caravan at the Timberland Caravan Park in Bishop's Cleeve. Who fucking cares?
A lot of words.
Basically, they rented a trailer and lived in a trailer park. Rena joined him in February of 1966, which makes no sense, accompanied by McNeil and McFall. Remember, I don't know who the fuck McNeil is. McFall is the girl who's the 16-year-old who, her boyfriend had died.
Okay.
And they also move into Fred's caravan. And they both came, just as an FYI, they both came from impoverished backgrounds, so they were just trying to find some work in England. Shortly after the move south, Fred found employment driving for a fucking place that is English sounding and it doesn't translate for us.
Skiddlywinks.
Yes. By early 1966, Fred had begun to exhibit dominance and control over all 3 women. Solid. He was also prone to violent mood swings, and Rena and McNeil typically bore the brunt of his fury. I have no idea who, once more, McNeil is, so we're just going to let it slide into the storyline. I believe she was just a friend who like kind of turned around during like harder times, you know?
Yeah.
Now, Fred also physically attacked his stepdaughter more than once, which is not shocking because of everything we've talked about.
Yeah.
He's also reported to have begun sexually abusing Charmaine at this point. And he encouraged Rena to turn to prostitution to help with his shitty ass income because he's a puss ass bitch.
He's like, I'm just going to hit kids and sling ice cream and I need you to go be a sex worker. Like, what that's...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's actually exactly what his plan was.
Okay.
How wild.
How?
To escape Fred's domestic abuse and increasingly sadistic sexual demands, Rena calls baby daddy John. He's not really a baby daddy, but anyway. Who I had wondered where the fuck he had gone. And I'm like, I don't understand any part of this, but I'm also not a sex worker.
Yeah. So
I don't know what kind of loosey-goosey things happen. I don't know. She begs him to save McNeil and her children. Together, John, Rena, and McNeil devise a plan. He and McNeil's boyfriend, John Trotter, we got a lot of Johns going on here, they would secretly drive to Bishop's Cleeve in John's Mini and take Rena and her children back to Scotland, along with that McNeil chick. Now, why not Anne McFall, the 16-year-old? Well, now she is infatuated with Fred.
Oh, no.
Who had promised to marry her.
So he groomed her. She was very vulnerable.
Yes.
Kid.
All those things.
Yeah.
But he's also ugly as fuck.
I need to see what he looks like.
He looks like his breath would smell like rotting teeth.
Ew.
Yeah.
Halitosis.
God. It's likely she informed Fred of the plan, and as he arrived at the meeting time, and McFall was oddly calm, and she informed McNeil she intended to remain with Fred to work as a children's nanny. An altercation ensues between Fred and John, resulting in Fred being struck several times as he clutched onto Charmaine and Anna Marie. Police were called, and John, McNeil, and Rena left, with Fred threatening to kill Rena should he ever see her again. So the adults get off. She leaves her fucking kids.
Oh, God.
She leaves her fucking kids.
Wow.
With a sexual sadist rapist who has a thing for little kids. So I'm sorry, Rena. Fuck you.
Yeah, she just left him. I mean, this is him. This man.
Yes.
This.
We'll have to use that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. To ensure her daughter's well-being, which this is dumb, sure, whatever, say whatever you want to say. Rena frequently traveled to England to visit Charmaine and Anne Marie while they lived with Fred there.
Oh, well, how sweet.
Oh, yeah, she would come and visit sometimes. Despite initially maintaining her friendship with McFall, Rena soon began to resent her matriarchal presence around her daughters. Because now this little 16-year-old is playing mommy to her kids.
Well, somebody had to.
You ain't wrong.
I mean,
she should have taken them.
Yeah.
On October 11th, in an act of resentment, Rena stole some belongings from Fred's caravan and returned to Glasgow. She was arrested the following month and returned to Gloucester to face trial. On November 29th, Rena was sentenced to 3 years probation. Fred testified at the hearing, admitting he and McFall were living together, but falsely claiming McFall intended to return to Scotland immediately because that's a child. Fucking crazy. After the trial, McFall moved into the caravan at the Timberland Caravan Park. No one cares about the park name. And Rena alternated between living with Fred and returning to Glasgow. So now Rena's arrested. I don't know what she's arrested for or if it was for stealing his stuff. And now she's living with the toxicity, man.
This is so... Okay.
She was a sex worker, though.
Yeah.
And she had been arrested and had she's already pretty tragic, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, letters that McFall posted to her family and McNeil in Glasgow between 1966 and 67 indicated she believed a relationship with Fred would offer her a better life than what she could get in Scotland. And she tried to persuade Fred the whole time to divorce Rena so that he would marry her. And he was like, no. Now, in July of 1967, Anne McFall, she's 18 now, and she's 8 months pregnant with Fred's child.
Oh, God.
She vanishes.
What? She gone?
I'll carry on.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
She is gone. She was never reported missing because no one knew. Her dismembered remains were found buried in the edge of a cornfield between Muchmarkle, which was the place that his aunt's house, and Kempley in June 1994, 27 years later.
They didn't find her for that long.
27 years.
That's so sad.
8 months pregnant.
Ugh.
Her limbs had been carefully disarticulated, which is basically a cut.
My brain was like, cannot compute. It's after 5. I don't know.
Yes. which is basically a cut between two bones along a joint, and many of the phalanges, which are finger bones,
I knew that word.
were missing from her body.
Oh, God.
They believe that was for keepsakes, and they do wonder if the unborn child was cut from her womb or not.
That's sad.
I know. Fred initially denied that he had killed McFall, but confided in one visitor following his arrest that he had stabbed her to death following an argument. This explanation is inconsistent with the fact that her wrists were found with sections of dressing gown cord wrapped around them, suggesting that she had been restrained prior to her murder. The following month, Rena returned to live with Fred, and the couple relocated to another fucking caravan park. Their relationship initially improved, but Rena left the following year, again leaving the children in his care. This Rena chick, she really fucking pisses me off.
She sounds kind of like a little bit selfish. She's just like...
she sucks.
Yeah.
On these occasions, when Fred had no one to supervise the care of the girls, guess what he did?
Just left them.
He would just place them into the care of the social services.
What? He would just hand them over?
He would just hand them over to social services like a fucking babysitting service.
Why would he get them back?
I don't know, ma'am. I was not in England working at the Gloucestershire Social Services.
Well, I have told everyone else otherwise, so thanks for making me a liar.
Well, I'll have to erase that line from my resume. Now it's time for him to meet his crazy new fucking lover, and everything fucking goes to straight shit.
It already sounds pretty shitty. Shitty.
We're going to give you a little bit more. Her name is Rosemary Letts. Rosemary Rose Letts was born in Devon on November 29th, 1953, the result of a very difficult pregnancy, with both of her parents suffering from mental illnesses. Electroconvulsive therapy was administered to her pregnant mother for deep depression when she was pregnant and then after she was pregnant. And they believe that caused prenatal injury.
You
that
think?
Contributed to Rose's poor school performance and bouts of aggression as she grew up.
Yeah.
They literally shocked a pregnant woman.
They nuked her.
Because she was sad.
They used to do wild shit back then.
Well, her dad was also schizo.
Oh,
we'll go into that too. Okay. She also had a weight problem in adolescence and developed an interest in older men.
What?
Let me tell you why. The marriage of Rose's parents was a turbulent one. Her father was a paranoid schizophrenic who was prone to violent behavior. And he was basically terrifying and very like
dictator.
Basically. Her mother, Daisy, I feel like that name's been around.
That's cute.
Moved out of the family home, taking Rose with her. That's cute, Daisy and Rose. Rose, however, decided to move back in with her father, who then started to sexually abuse both her and her older sister, Patricia.
No.
She became hypersexual. Are you ready?
No.
It said that she was obsessed with her developing body, and when she was 13, she would deliberately parade around the house, naked or semi-naked, in the presence of her younger brother, Graham, who was born in 1957. So 4 years age difference. On numerous occasions, once more, at the ripe fucking age of 13, she would creep into her 9-year-old brother's bed and molest him.
No.
And her youngest brother, Gordon.
I'm so uncomfortable. I hate all this.
I do too. Rose first encountered Fred at a bus stop in early 1969, shortly after Rose had turned 15. And casual age difference, Fred was 27. Rose was apparently grossed out by Fred, since I guess he looked like a smash bag of assholes. They said that he was like nasty, like he was really disheveled. But she was a young girl and she liked the attention that he gave her. So she had refused at that like bus stop twice that she would go on a date with him. But he would she'd let him take her home to the house or something, like escort her home. Having discovered that she worked at this nearby bread shop, he persuaded an unknown woman to enter the fucking store and present her with a gift and say, "There's a man outside who would like to talk to you." And then she didn't go outside. So
How
Fred
weird
came
was
in.
that?
I can't.
Like,
That's
so-
called murder.
Like, this guy, my friend, this guy wants to talk to you.
It's not your friend. It was a random person.
Here's a piece of gum.
He was like, "Can you? I'm a 27-year-old man. Can you give this little gift to this tiny girl in the front?
Yeah.
Fuck you."
Right.
Anyway, he enters the fucking store and they finally go on their date.
I wonder what the present was.
I don't want to know. So shortly after, I kind of do want to know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hello Kitty backpack because she's 15.
It was, yes, because Hello Kitty was very, very large here in 1960.
That's what I heard.
Shortly thereafter, Rose and Fred start dating and he becomes a frequent visitor. Excuse me, she becomes a frequent visitor at the park where he lived with the 2 children from his first marriage to Catherine or Rena. And that is, once more, Anne-Marie and Charmaine. Rose became a willing nanny, basically, to Fred's daughters. And she also noted,
Are they like the same age? Like, I
don't know. Charmaine's probably just a toddler, a little bit older than a toddler.
I'm trying to follow the timeline, but in my head, I was like, so they're like friends or what? Because like, I feel like they're.
So in the beginning, they say that she was like actually nice and like a good stepmom and shit, and that she would like take him on excursions and they would do stuff together. Within weeks of her first meeting Fred, Rose left her job at the bread shop in order to become a full-time nanny to his children. This decision was made with the agreement that Fred would provide her sufficient money to give to her parents on Fridays to convince them that she was still working at the fucking bread shop. What the fuck? Several months later, Rose introduced Fred to her family, who was like, what the absolute fuck? Rose's mother was unimpressed with Fred's boastful and arrogant behavior and was like, he's a pathological liar. Her father...
Yeah, what he said.
Oh my God. He disapproved aggressively. And he was like threatening to... Look at this shit. He was threatening to call social services on Fred if he continued to date his daughter because he was fucking his daughter.
That's what I was going to say.
He was still having sex with his daughter.
Oh, still?
Yeah. Oh, he continues to have sex with her his whole life.
No.
Yes.
No.
Rose's parents forbade their daughter from continuing to date Fred, but she obviously is like, fuck you, I'm not worrying about it. And they did end up going to the social services to explain that their 15-year-old daughter was having a sexual relationship with an older man, and they had heard rumors that she had begun to engage in the sex trade, in the prostitution. At Fred's caravan. In response, Rose was placed in a home for troubled teenagers in August of 1969 and only permitted to leave under controlled conditions. When allowed to return home to visit her parents at weekends, Rose almost invariably took the opportunity to visit Fred. I find it very interesting that they decide, because it pisses me off.
Yeah,
it pisses me off.
You just got riled up and real serious.
Because her parents called and they take her into that situation. It's like, you rape your daughter.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if he rapes his daughter. I don't know if that's rape. I don't think it's rape. I'm going to be really open with you. I don't think it was rape anymore. I really don't. Based off of everything, I don't know. I cannot tell you I for sure believe
Either
that
way,
it was.
he's an adult. She's a child. She's
Right.
groomed. You know,
but she also
like-
had electroshock therapy as a fetus.
Yeah.
So it is not common for a 13-year-old to just molest a 9-year-old.
Yeah, no. None of this. Nothing you have said in this whole fucking 34 minutes has been common.
Yes, correct.
At all.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Actually, thank you. Watch for Dear podcast.
Yeah.
On her 16th birthday, Rose left the home for troubled teenagers to return to her parents while Fred was serving a 30-day sentence for theft and unpaid fines. Upon his release, Rose left her parents' home where she moves into a flat where he lived then. Shortly after, Fred gets Charmaine and Anne-Marie from social services. He comes back from his
he went and
time in jail.
Checked his kids back out from the kid library.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm done. Okay, I guess I can take that. Like, who? Okay, just go.
I just got out of jail. I have a 16-year-old brat I need to get back to.
Yeah.
Rose's father made one final effort to prevent his daughter from seeing Fred, and Rose was examined by a police surgeon in February of 1970 who confirmed that she was pregnant. In response, she was again placed into care, but was discharged. She was discharged on March 6th on the understanding she would terminate her pregnancy and return to her family. Instead, she decided to live with Fred. Her father was like, never, ever come to this house again. There's a huge, huge chance that baby was fathered by her father.
I was wondering that.
Yep. There's no evidence that the child was Fred's and not her dad's.
I mean,
And it would have been him if it was somebody else.
Oh, God.
3 months later, the couple vacated one of their flats and they went to the ground floor of a 2-story house in Midland Road in Gloucester. There are people in England who are screaming into their fucking radio.
Sorry.
Whatever, because
sorry, lads.
I'm saying things.
We're
lads and lasses. I'm sorry that I'm saying everything wrong.
Like 5 or 6% of our listeners are from over there. So sorry,
I should have definitely done like the say it out loud. Gloucester. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. On October 17th, 1970, Rose gave birth to their first child, a daughter they named Heather Ann.
Oh.
2 months later, Fred was imprisoned again for theft of car tires.
Wow.
And a vehicle tax disc. If you know what that is, let me know. He remained in prison until June 24th of 1971 as he served his 6.5-month sentence. Rose, having just turned 17, looked after the 3 girls, Charmaine and Heather.
Oh, man.
And she told Charmaine and Anne Marie to refer to her as mother.
Mother?
Mother.
Not mum?
Mem. According to Anne Marie, she and Charmaine were frequently subjected to extensive physical and emotional abuse throughout the time. They stop laughing because it's inappropriate timing.
The way you said it, the look on your face. Damn it. Okay.
Although,
sorry. Sorry. Oh. Okay,
although Anne Marie was generally submissive and prone to display emotion in response to the abuse, Charmaine pissed Rose off because she was stoic and she would not cry and she would respond to none of it, which almost makes me think she has that weird disability where you don't feel pain.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge chance that it is a thing. And based off some stuff, I really do think that Charmaine did not have any. Yeah. I don't think she felt pain. I'm going to be honest. I could be fucking wrong. She could just be a badass 6-year-old, but I don't know.
Go fuck yourself. I saw that on The Good Doctor.
Yeah, I've seen it on a few things. Mm-hmm. Despite the years of neglect and abuse, Charmaine's spirit had never been broken. And she talked wistfully to Anne Marie of the belief that her mummy will come and save me. And Anne Marie later recollected her sister repeatedly antagonized Rose by making statements such as, "My mummy wouldn't swear and shout at us." Every time she was like a fucking raging cunt. A childhood friend of Charmaine's named Tracy Guile. She had lived in the upper flat and she would talk about different instances of things that were happening. So one time she literally walked into the flat unannounced. Charmaine was naked and standing on a chair, gagged, with her hands bound behind her back with a belt. Rose was standing alongside her with a large spoon in her hand.
What?
Tracy had apparently said that Charmaine was calm and unconcerned. This little girl being abused.
Oh my God.
And then Anne Marie was just standing by the door with a blank expression. I have no idea what was happening. Now, hospital records reveal that Charmaine had received treatment for a severe puncture wound in her left ankle in the casualty unit at one of the hospitals, March 28th of 1971. Of course, it was a household accident is what Rose said.
Yeah.
Rose believed to have murdered Charmaine shortly before Fred's prison release on June 24th of 1971. What they say is that she was known to have taken Charmaine, Anne Marie, and Heather to visit Fred on June 15th. And it is believed that shortly after that, they decided together to kill Charmaine, which wasn't their child.
Yeah.
I mean, technically Fred's, but technically no.
Yeah.
Either. They did confirm through forensic that Fred was incarcerated at the time that she was killed, which confirmed that it was Rose. That Rose killed her. She basically told everyone that Charmaine was living with Rena in Bristol, and she informed staff at her primary school that the child had moved in with her mother in London. And when Fred was released from prison on June 24th, he basically told Anne Marie, the other sister, that her sister's whereabouts by saying that, Rena came and got her, and they went back to Scotland. And Anne Marie actually lives, and she writes an autobiography. So spoiler alert, she's alive. Mm-hmm. And it's called Out of the Shadows, Anne Marie. And she writes about how she asked her dad when she was a little girl, why didn't my mom take me? And he goes, she wouldn't want you, love. You're the wrong color. Because she was fully white. And the other girl had a little bit of Asian in her.
Yeah.
Charmaine's body was initially stowed in the coal cellar, Midland Road, until Fred was released from prison, and he later buried her naked body in the yard close to the back door of the flat, and he remained adamant that he did not dismember her. A subsequent postmortem suggested that the body had actually been severed at the hip. This damage, they think it could have actually happened while they were doing construction at the house, and it could have just
Like been an accident or something.
That like her dead body was under the ground and somehow broke that way. I don't know. Several bones, though, particularly fingers, wrist, toe, and ankle bones were missing from her skeleton. Once more, looking like it's probably a keepsake experience. That's going to be a distinctive finding in all of the autopsies of the victims exhumed in 1994. Rena maintained sporadic contact with her children on each occasion. She and Fred separated. She was also known to have visited Fred's family to try to figure out like where her children were.
Yeah.
And that was like later on in August of 1971. Fred's sister-in-law, Kristen, said that like she was really anxious and super depressed. I'm like, go fuck yourself. You left your daughters alone with him and you knew exactly who and what he was.
He didn't hide the fact that he was a fucking
Nope. None of it was hidden.
monster.
And you left him with him.
So you made a choice. It's not like you were like, stay here, I'll be back tomorrow with the cops and da-da-da. No.
Yep.
No.
Well, she gets the address to go find out what the fuck happened, and she's never seen again.
Whoa.
Yep. He's like, now it's time to kill her. So it's believed that she had been murdered by strangulation, possibly in the backseat of Fred's vehicle, and likely while intoxicated. When her body was discovered, a short length of metal tubing was found with her remains, leaving open a possibility that she was restrained and subjected to sexual abuse prior to her murder. The body was extensively dismembered, placed into plastic bags, and buried close to the cluster of trees known as yew tree coppice at Letterbox Field. How about we pivot?
No.
And we talk about getting hitched, because we haven't talked about getting married in a whole year.
So now we're talking about getting married?
Yep, because it's time for Fred and Rose to get married. We've committed some murders. It's time to now say I did. So now it's time to pivot, or we're going to just stop, because I think I'm halfway through. And it's probably a good time for us to all take a chill break.
It's only halfway.
The worst thing is this isn't the bad stuff.
How is that? Okay.
This isn't the part that's fucked me up yet.
I'm like sweating.
I know, I told you.
Okay.
I told you I'm very depressed from everything. It's a very sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in next time so that you can find out how it gets worse.
Oh, great. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yes. Can you rate, review, subscribe?
Yeah. Do all that stuff.
Yes.
Yes. Helps us out. Help us. Help you. Help us.
We are not at work.
Oh.
And that is Heather's work phrase. But we have been thinking about a new catchphrase.
Oh my gosh.
I know. What was it? Don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Oh, we love it. Okay, we love you guys.
Yes,
Bye.
we love you. Bye.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?